So welcome everyone. My name is Nancy Moore. I'm the Director of Programs for Africa Fire Mission, and we're very pleased to have you with us today and to talk a little bit today about just some activities that have been happening in Nairobi and ways that you might be able to use similar activities in your own communities. As you're aware, many of you, Africa Fire Mission offers these trainings free of charge for the fire service across Africa. And we're pleased to do that. Our volunteers are the ones providing the trainings most of the time. Occasionally you'll hear from our staff, but most of the instructors, both in Africa and in the United States or Europe, are volunteers. So we greatly appreciate their time and helping to keep this going for over a year now. We are always looking for new instructors and welcome you to become part of that. Because of the time, we will ask you to do some introductions in the chat. You can also ask questions or even unmute yourself during the training if you have any questions that come up or want to make any comments as we go along. We do want this to be interactive, so please feel free to ask those questions as they come up. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jose for both some words of encouragement as well as training for us today.
Great. Thank you so much, Madam Nancy, for giving us this time to fellowship and to just come and have a great time during the class. Welcome, everybody. I see Susan Mundia, Lynette, we have Elijah, Errol, and people are signing in. Karibuni sana. Mine is just to basically encourage us not to stop. What do I mean by that? Not to stop the good work that we're doing. Because as we know in the fire service, this is more like a calling. I take it like a calling. So what I usually say is sometimes the going can really get rough, but then you should not stop. You should always ask yourself, what made me get to start this job, you know? Yes, you might not be appreciated by either your community that you're serving or maybe your colleagues at work. I would just encourage you to just keep up the great work, that we are proud of you and that the people who you're serving are depending on you to sort out solution. And guess what? You're actually a solution to what God has created, that is the human beings. So stay in course and stay encouraged. So I'll jump into the lesson today. It's really not a lesson. It's more like a recap of what happened here in Kenya. And what happened in Kenya is there was a fire bans and safety week. Yeah, it was quite a busy week. And I'd request Madam Nancy to pull up the slides. Okay. There you go. Thank you very much. So those are the slides that I prepared. And it is just a review. And for me, it's more like calling us to action. Yeah. I usually take this Burns and Fire Safety Week ever since we started participating in it. That's about 3 years ago, as a point of action. So every year on this month, September, there's a National Burns and Fire Safety Week. They launch a theme, and that is actually what we get to run with throughout the year. It is just a 1 week launch, but it doesn't stop there. What is supposed to happen is for the whole year until next year in September, you run with that theme. Yeah. So what was this year's theme? We can get to the next slide. So this year's theme was in Swahili, Zingatia Usalama wa Jamii, Zuia Moto, translated as in English as Focus on Community Safety, Prevent Fires. So the founders of this Fire Bans and Safety Week here in Kenya, who are doctors at Kenyatta National Hospital, noticed that it is better to prevent these fires from the ground up, meaning from the community level to the other communities. Yeah, and they noticed that so many fires were happening in the slum areas. It didn't mean that in other estates, in estates or organized community settings, there were no fires, but so many fires happened in the community, I mean, in the slum areas. Well, this Bans Week did not just, it wasn't just done by doctors alone. There were other stakeholders involved. These stakeholders include Red Cross. There was the Nairobi Fire Brigade Service. There was the Kenyatta National Hospital themselves. There's the KCMT. There is the bio oil. There's so many others like another organization which has an interesting name in Kisumu. They're called Fires. There is a November Rapid Response Team, and so many others, not forgetting St. John Ambulance. Next slide, please. So this Fire and Burn Safety Week is a whole week of involvements, of activities. But because this year was quite unique in the sense that the government did not allow us to have, to commune, to have crowds around, we had to come with ingenuitive ways of doing this Fire Bans and Safety Week. So we thought the best way of not having crowds is to have what we call a roadshow. So the stakeholders involved, every week for like 4 months, we had a meeting every week on Thursday, just trying to think around what we can do. So we settled on having a roadshow. So the roadshow needed us to have a fire truck, an announcement vehicle, cars from the different stakeholders had to show up. So here are the activities that got involved. On Monday, on the 20th September, we communed at the fire station at the Central Business District, and the activities involved, of course, it was a roadshow, and the places we went on this particular day, we went to Soweto slums in Kayole, that is here in Kenya, not the Soweto in South Africa. There's a slum here in Kenya called Soweto, and it is in Kayole. So we were not coming off the car, we were just inside the cars, and we were just announcing issues in regards to giving them the fire brigade number, telling them the dangers of gas cylinders, buying it from the unauthorized dealers, where to report when they get an electrical fault, and even, for example, when they find somebody who's fainted, what they need to do and call St. John Ambulance and the Red Cross. On Tuesday, it was a little bit interesting because we went to Kenyatta National Hospital, and there we had the different media houses. We had the People Daily, we had Citizen, we had the individual independent media houses, and so forth and so forth. Also, we had a chance to demonstrate to demonstrate what we do in the community on different ways we reach out to the community in terms of stop, drop, and roll, how to use the fire blanket to arrest fires that have started immediately and things like that. It was also a day for speeches, whereby now the chairman for the Burn Society of Kenya had to give a speech. We had the police who came and gave us a speech on behalf of the government, and so many other stakeholders, including Red Cross and the St. John. Yeah. So yeah, next slide, please. It is important to note, even as we did all these events, at the end of the day, which was about 2 p.m. or about 3 p.m. there, we communed at the place we started. For example, you see now over here on Wednesday on the 22nd, the venue was at the fire station, yeah, in the Central Business District. At 3 p.m., all the cars drove back there, and we had to come and do a review, a debrief. What worked, what did not work, what we need to improve, and also what you feel should be done either now or in the next day or in the next event. This was a very critical time. Debrief is always a critical time to actually do to do improvements. Yeah. So of course, you see now the activities involved were just roadshows. The previous years we did yes the roadshow. We stop in a certain community, and then we do the stop, drop, and roll. We do the chip pan demonstration fires and all around there. But this time, because of the COVID restrictions, we're just allowed by the government to stay on the road and do road announcements. Yeah. On Thursday of the 23rd, we still did a road show, and this time we went to Mukuru slums. It was quite an interesting time because this time in Mukuru, we had Red Cross join us, and Red Cross actually took us right in a Mukuru slum, a place called Fuatanyayo. And in this place, they really showed us how they got to reach out to the community. We had the CHVs, we had the community champions come through and show us what to do and how they usually do it. Yeah. Next slide, please. And on Friday, it was the last day, we went to Korokocho slums, still did a road show, and the venue again was the fire station at the Central Business District. But this is the only fire station in the Central Business District. Yeah, but the outskirts, we're talking about the one at we have at Wathaka, in Dagoretti, and several other places. Yeah, but in the Central Business District, we have only one fire station. So again, it was a road show, Korokocho slums. That is just at the adjacent slum, just right here in Mathare. And it was really quite busy because it was a teamwork thing. And in that car that we were doing the announcements, because I was actually part of that team, we had a script because we wanted it to be consistent. We wanted the message to be consistent. Yeah. So we were giving numbers of the fire brigade. We were telling them where to focus to buy the what do we call it, the liquid petroleum gas cylinder, the MECO cylinders. We're telling them not to buy from these liquid petroleum gas cylinders without a seal. Whenever they see it without a seal, they should forget about it. Yeah. Also, we were telling them how to clean the MECO cylinders. We're telling them how to report for fires which involve electrical fires. We're telling them how to stop, drop, and roll just while we're in the car. So there are about 6 messages but scripted. Yeah, they were scripted. So it is very important in such an instance, you work as a team, you work with people who will help you, because it was a whole 5 hours of just talking. Yeah, and within 2 hours your voice has already broken. Yeah, is already broken, so you need to be to rest, and things somebody else takes over. Next slide, please. So this is how it looked like. We had a convoy of cars. We really thank God of the stakeholders who are there. The stakeholders were very influential towards providing us with cars. The lead car over there was a police van, and we had the Red Cross van. We had also the fast fire truck. It's quite small, 1,000-liter truck, and then the bigger truck with the 12,000-liter water tank that the Nairobi Fire Brigade gave us. And the reason for this was for people to know that these are resources provided to them by the government, and they needed to have this information whereby if they get to call us, we are going to come and help them for free. Because there is a misconception that when the fire brigade comes to your place, you're going to be charged for it. Yeah, or whoever called the fire brigade is going to be charged the bill. So this was an opportune time for you, the fire safety advocate, to actually come and tell them, hey, this is how you're supposed to do. Yeah, and the call for action, even as I mentioned on this, even going before my slide, is this can be replicated. You may not have these resources like cars and everything else, but what you can do, you can be a little bit innovative. You can have flyers, and you can have a microphone on you, and you can walk as you talk. You see on this next slide, there are people who are reading the flyers that we are giving. Yeah, so you don't need to have these cards for you to actually do it. You can just have a team of maybe 10 firefighters, and you can walk in your community giving them the instructions. Okay, giving them the instructions and giving out the flyers. Next slide, please. So as you can see here, it was not only in Nairobi that we did this fire safety week. We are so privileged to have Teddy from Kisumu County, who's a stakeholder with his company called Fires. Yeah, so Teddy went and gathered a school and demonstrated with a fire blanket on how to control when your MECO misbehaves. What do you need to do? Yeah, so over here he was doing what we call covering the MECO with a fire blanket. Yeah, and later on he taught the children on stop, drop, and roll, crawling under smoke, and things like that. So with the little resources that he had, he still had impact. Yeah, so even though you're in a county that, for example, don't have enough resources, you can always use the resources of the fire safety advocate. You as a fire safety advocate in your county or in your fire house, to just work with the little resources that you have and pass the message. In fact, do not forget to give the fire brigade number of your county. Yeah, because that is the only way that somebody can call and you can be able to be reached out. Okay, next slide, please. So on Tuesday, as I told you, we had a point whereby the stakeholders were giving a demonstration, and we had the one stakeholder, St. John Ambulance. They were showing us, for example, when you have badly burnt patient and you find them they're alive, you can give them first aid. And over here, they were covering the patient with a blanket that helps that helps the body not to release any body heat. Yeah. So yeah, this is actually a demonstration that they were doing professionally over that launch period. Next slide, please. So basically, the Fire Safety Week is technically launching a whole year of activity. Yeah. So basically, this is actually the beginning of the year of the theme Zingatia Usalama wa Jamii, Zuia Moto. Okay. So the year actually starts this month. Yeah. For the Fires and Burns Safety Week. Fire and Burns, should I now call it Safety Year? Yeah, it was the week that was actually last week. Now, the theme of this year is Zingatia Usalama wa Jamii and Zuia Moto. So who's going to do all this? It is you, the fire safety advocate in your firehouse. Okay? Fire advocacy will not stop only on the 24th, I mean on the 21st till the 24th of last week. Yes, in September. Okay, it doesn't stop there. It continues in October, it continues in November, it continues in December, all through until September. All right. So the call of action to you as a fire safety advocate, the fire prevention officer, you need to take this theme of Zingatia Usalama wa Jamii, and through that, you zuia moto. Okay? And getting to the report that was coming in is that there were so many gender-based violence scenarios in 2021 during this COVID period because people were at home. So you find couples and families fighting a lot. So with that, by protecting by giving protection to the family, you get to prevent the fires. Okay. So going forth this year, what you need to do as the fire prevention officer or the fire safety advocate is to have these lessons planned out within your firehouse. You can sit down with your fire chief or your battalion chief and share with them every month or after every 3 months, this is what I'm going to do. For example, here are some examples. You can have home visits. Yeah, what do I mean by home visits? In your area, there are some, when people have gone to work, there are people who are left at home, either housewives or house helps. Yes, these house managers. So what you need to do is to tell your fire chief, hey, I'm actually wanting to go from door to door with a team of people, either to the Nyumba Kumi chairman, and tell them that I'm from X, Y, and Z firehouse, and I'm coming to check the health of your home in regards to fire safety. So what are you going to check on the home visits? You're going to check on things like, what kind of wires are they using? Things like the cooking coil, the coil that actually heats up to boil the water, is it safely placed? You can check on things like the MECO, yeah, the LPG cylinder. Is it well? Is it clean? Is it genuine from a genuine supplier? All those things you need to check. Also, another call for action. Remember, we as African firefighters, we're trying to build a rapport with the community. Because you know, sometimes when you go to a community, they throw stones at us. So other activities that are going to bring a good relationship with the community might involve community reach out programs like sports. You can have a football match between firefighters and the community people. It doesn't have to be the community footballers, for example, or the community volleyballers, professional volleyballers. It can be mixed. It can be ladies and gentlemen mixed in the team, and then it can be firefighters who are ladies and gentlemen mixed, and you can have that friendly match. And during breaks, you can have demonstrations, stop, drop, and roll, and things like that. Other community reach out programs as a call for action in this year's Zingatia Usalama wa Jamii Zuia Moto theme, you can do fumigation. You can do a fumigation activity. You can map out an area and you can say, hey, in this particular area, we have about 3,000 homes. So it will take X, Y, and Z budget. It will take this kind of manpower. Yes. And because we have a group of the firefighters, you can give us what you're doing and we can come and help you in your community, either now to fumigate the homes. We have demonstrations, yeah. Call for action, maybe in month of December, you can have a demonstration of Christmas trees and also chip and fires, whereby people deep fry chicken and deep fry turkeys. And you can tell them, before you deep fry your chicken or your turkey or your duck, make sure that it is at room temperature. It doesn't have water. It is not frozen because it is going to blow up. Okay. You can even demonstrate on how to clean the gas cooker or the gas cylinder. Okay. And these ones, you're going to help them. You can even, because in December people use Christmas trees, you can actually tell them, hey, when the Christmas, for it to prevent it to be dry, be watering the Christmas tree. Yeah. So there's so countless of lessons that you can use that are cost effective, and you will not put a dent into your budget for in your firehouse. Yeah. So one of the things that we really encourage at Africa Fire Mission is you get to whatever, what do you call it? You register your activity. Yeah. For any activity that you do, you actually report it. And you can report it as you. For example, I'm seeing names here like Frederick Muli, yeah? Or maybe, for example, Isaac Amonga or Lynette Salamba. Whenever you go and do a training, you can go and say, I did a training, for example, in Mountain View Estate. I did it for, what do you call it? Use of fire extinguishers. And I had maybe about 20 participants. You just record that. And at the end of the year, we actually go look at the list that you have done, and then we present it to you and say, by the way, beginning October of 2021 until October of 2022, you did a training of up to about 2,000 people, yeah? And here is the list of all those people. So we are helping you to actually have a list of people that you trained. So that's what I had for you today. And I would invite us for a thought process of what you think, and moving forward of ideas for call for action. Thank you very much, and back to us. So, what do you think? Do you have any ideas of what needs to be done, or what do you do in your community? Yeah, what do you do in your community for fire prevention? Do you have anything? You can unmute and then you can say something. Please feel free. Yes, TechnoSpark 3.
Yeah, my name is Gideon Mwanza.
Gideon Mwanza, karibu sana.
Yeah, though I've just joined you on the way, but
Yes,
I knew the program. First of all, let me thank you so much for the series of lessons that you have been presenting. Today, in specific, let me also commend you for the good job that you have done by presenting a real event. In my country, Malawi, I think it has been one of the interesting lessons because we encounter a challenge with the community. So I will take up two issues that we are supposed to plan for that and we need to do with our community. The very important aspect that one is a good relationship. There should be a good rapport indeed with the community because there is that negative perception that they see by department. So it's high time that the fire advocates, we need to come up with the different remedies, different strategies, different methodologies, how can we work together, how can we be together with the community so that there should be a good relationship, so that there should not be that perception biasness that has been there. I'm so very encouraged. Secondly, I was looking at, first of all, I don't know the theme that you have put it. I think that's in your local language there, but if you can translate in English, what does it mean?
Yes, sorry. In my earlier slide, I'd said in our local language, zingatia usalama wa jamii, zuia moto, meaning zingatia usalama wa jamii. Zingatia usalama wa jamii is in English is protect. Can somebody help me over there? Isaac. I want you to be participatory. It's actually focus on community safety, prevent fires.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yes. Thanks for putting up the slide. That is the direct translation. Zingatia usalama wa jamii, focus on community safety, prevent the fires. When you focus on community safety, you prevent the fires.